family is back home in Sierra Leone, Somalia, Senegal, Zimbabwe, or any of the 39 countries now on the U.S. travel ban list, this video is for you. Not clickbait, not panic, just the facts, clearly explained. Because right now there is a lot of confusion, a lot of fear, and not enough clarity. And if you are sitting in the US, the UK, or Canada, wondering what this means for your mother, your brother, your spouse, trying to visit, I'm going to walk you through exactly what is happening, what it means for your family specifically, and what, if anything, you can actually do. Let's start at the beginning, because this did not happen all at once. In June 2025, the Trump administration issued a proclamation restricting entry to the United States for nationals of 19 countries. 12 of those faced a full ban, meaning no immigrant visas, no tourist visas, no student visas. Nothing! 7 others faced partial restrictions on specific visa types. That was June. Then, in December 2025, a second proclamation expanded the ban significantly. The number of affected countries more than doubled, from 19 to 39. The new restrictions took effect on January 1st, 2026. And then, on January 14th, 2026, the administration went further still, announcing an indefinite freeze on visa processing for people from 75 countries. 75 countries. So this is not a minor policy adjustment. This is a structural shift in how the United States is approaching immigration and family reunification, and it is moving fast. There is also a development that most coverage has not mentioned. Mali and Burkina Faso have both responded by imposing their own full visa bans on U.S. citizens in retaliation. Tit-for-tat bans are now in play between African governments and the United States. That context matters for understanding how serious this moment is. There are 2 tiers, full ban and partial ban. The distinction matters enormously. A full ban means entry is completely suspended. Immigrant visas, tourist visas, student visas, work visas, all of it. The countries on the full list most relevant to the African diaspora include Chad, Eritrea, Libya, Mali, Niger, Sierra Leone, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, and Burkina Faso. A partial ban means immigrant visas are suspended and certain non-immigrant visas are blocked, specifically tourist visas, also known as B2 visas, student visas known as F1 visas, and exchange visitor visas known as J visas. Countries under partial restrictions include Senegal, Angola, Gabon, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Zambia, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, Malawi, the Gambia, Mauritania, and others. These are not fringe countries. These are home for millions of people across the diaspora living in the US, the UK, and Canada. For partial ban countries, what this means in practice, if your family member is applying for a tourist visa to visit you, that application will now be denied. If a sibling was planning to come study on an F1 student visa, blocked. A J exchange program, blocked. Work visas, like the H-1B, which allows skilled workers to be employed in the U.S., are not affected by the partial ban. But everything in the tourism, student, and family visitor category is gone. These are the 39 countries affected, both lists in full ban. These 19 countries face a complete suspension. No immigrant visas, no tourist visas, no student visas, no work visas, nothing. Afghanistan, Burkina Faso, Chad, Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Laos, Libya, Mali, Myanmar, also known as Burma, Niger, Sierra Leone, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. Also included anyone traveling on travel documents issued by the Palestinian Authority. That is a total lockout for nationals of those 19 countries. Partial ban. These 20 countries face suspension of immigrant visas, meaning the pathway to permanent residency is blocked. Tourist visas, student visas, and exchange visitor visas are also blocked. Work visas like the H-1B are not suspended, but there is a catch on that which I will come back to. Angola, Antigua and Barbuda, Benin, Burundi, Cote d'Ivoire, Cuba, Dominica, Gabon, the Gambia, Malawi, Mauritania, Nigeria, Senegal, Tanzania, Togo, Tonga, Venezuela, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Turkmenistan sits in a separate category. Immigrant visas remain suspended, but non-immigrant visas, including tourist, student, and work visas, have been restored after the country met U.S. requirements. 39 countries in total, 26 of them are African nations. Now the catch on work visas, the H-1B and L-1, which is an intra-company transferee visa, categories are not suspended. But the proclamation directs consular officers to cap any newly issued work visa to a single entry, valid for a maximum of 3 months. So even the visa categories that technically survived the ban have been quietly downgraded for nationals of these countries. Here is the part that hits hardest and that a lot of reporting has underplayed. In the June version of the ban, there was an exception. Immediate relatives of U.S. citizens, spouses, parents, children under 21, could still apply for immigrant visas if they had clear evidence of the family relationship. The December proclamation removed that exception. It is gone. What that means is this. If you are a U.S. citizen and your spouse or your parent is from any of the fully banned countries, they can no longer get an immigrant visa to come join you. The family reunification pathway that was the most basic protection in the first ban no longer exists as a general rule. Waivers exist, but they are case by case, entirely discretionary, and by all accounts extremely rare. There is no formal waiver application process. You apply for the visa, you disclose your situation at the consular interview, and you hope that an officer decides your case meets the national interest standard. That is not a process. That is a lottery. Now let's talk about what the ban does not touch, because this matters too. Green card holders, lawful permanent residents are exempt. If your family member already has a green card, they can still travel. The ban does not revoke existing status. Existing valid visa holders, as of January 1st, 2026, are also exempt. If your family member had a valid visa on that date, they can still use it, for now. The catch is that when it expires, renewal will be subject to the new rules. Dual nationals traveling on a passport from a country not on the ban list are exempt. This is significant. If your family member holds citizenship in a country not on the ban list, British, Canadian, Portuguese, whatever it may be, and they travel on that passport, the ban does not apply to them. This is legal, this is confirmed, and many people in the community do not know it. U.S. citizens themselves are never barred from returning to the U.S. regardless of which country they were visiting. And the ban does not affect people already inside the United States. If your family member is here on a valid status, they are not affected unless they leave and try to come back. That last point is critical. If someone from a banned country is currently in the U.S., even on a valid visa, leaving the country is risky. Re-entry would be subject to the new rules. First, check visa expiration. Dates for every family member from an affected country. Anyone with a valid U.S. visa should know exactly when it expires. Valid visas can still be used, but once they expire, they are subject to the new rules. Second, if your family member has valid status in the U.S., they should not travel internationally right now without consulting an immigration attorney. Leaving the U.S. creates re-entry risk that did not exist 6 months ago. Third, check for dual citizenship. If any family member holds or is eligible for citizenship in a country not on the ban list, that passport becomes strategically important. Travel on the non-restricted passport. Fourth, for ongoing immigrant visa cases, do not abandon the process. Courts are reviewing legal challenges to the ban. The policy is reviewed every 180 days. The situation can change. Continuing the process keeps the case active for when circumstances shift. Fifth, consult a licensed immigration attorney. Not a paralegal, not a notario. A licensed immigration attorney. Waiver applications are rare and difficult, but they are not impossible. An attorney can assess whether your family member's specific situation qualifies. Sixth, follow official sources, not social media. The U.S. State Department and USCIS, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, are the primary references. Policy is evolving rapidly, and misinformation is everywhere. I want to say something clearly, and I say this as someone who presents information rather than politics. 26 of the 39 countries on this list are African nations. The ban disproportionately targets Black majority, Muslim majority, and African nations. That is not an opinion. That is what the list says. The stated reasons from the administration are visa overstay rates, cooperation with deportations, and screening deficiencies. Countries can be removed from the list if they improve on those benchmarks. Turkmenistan already has. Its partial non-immigrant ban was lifted after demonstrating progress, which means this is not necessarily permanent. Countries that engage with the U.S. government's requirements can come off the list. Mali and Burkina Faso have already responded by banning U.S. citizens from entering their countries in retaliation. The geopolitics of this are moving. Legal challenges are ongoing in U.S. courts. The travel ban from Trump's first term was modified multiple times through litigation. The same may happen here. What this means practically? Stay informed. Things are changing month to month. If you are sitting in the diaspora right now with family affected by this, you are not overreacting. This is real, and it is affecting real families across the world. What I hope this video gave you is clarity, not fear, because clarity is what lets you act. Check the visas, check the passports, talk to an attorney if your situation is complex, and share this video with anyone in the community who needs to understand what is actually happening. The links to official sources are in the description. If your family has been affected by the travel ban, I want to hear about it in the comments. And if you think someone you know needs to see this, please share it.